Welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. Tonight we're out in the fuel shed and it is time to start tearing all this apart. Got some major changes to make. The biggest part is our 6,000 RPM extreme conversion. So we're going to go from the basic WVO Designs Centrifuge to the extreme, which will do 6,000 RPM and a lot more G-force. And we're going to do some testing on it and see if the difference in material removed is worth the cost. So let's get started. First up, we've got some other changes to make. So I need to drain the oil out of the heater, the lines, which I've got a drain valve down here just for that purpose. And I'm going to be pulling this down from up here. I don't like this setup. Gravity feeding through filters, especially when the weather's cold, it's no good. It's not a good setup, not a good design. So what I'm going to do, I like the idea of having this filter in place just to catch the big stuff. So I'm going to put it on the pressure side of our pump. So it's going to be in between the pump and the drum. So it'll be getting fed pressurized oil, so it won't slow it down that much unless the filter plugs, which in that case we'll change the filter. It's not a big deal. But with that done, we'll be strictly gravity flowing through two valves right into the heater in the centrifuge. And that will eliminate, hopefully eliminate, all the issues I have when it comes to cold weather and processing fuel. Because I still run my fuel year round. I don't stop when it gets cold, and it does get cold here, single digits. And so far I haven't had any issues out of it since going to the direct drive. So let's get started tearing all this apart. Well, I got the gravity drum taken apart, and I've got it to drain what little bit is left down into this bucket here. And I've got this manifold set up all off and ready to come apart. So I'll take this in the shop, throw it in the vise, pull this apart and set it up how I want it without this filter head in place. And yeah, hopefully make this a lot easier to work with. Well, we got the supply set up. Plumbing changed around here. We've got the filter head removed. I went on and reused the filter head bracket just to support the plumbing, so it's not all pulling on this plastic bung up here. But yeah, I got the new sight tube put on because I had to cut it off. Extended this hose down to the heater. So this side is done. I will have to make a new bracket for the filter head, and I'll probably mount it back there on that back wall somewhere. Something that is relatively easy to get to, but I'm not going to do that right now. Next up, I'm going to pull the lid off of this, pull the bowl out because I still need to clean it up, and then I got to drop the collar off the motor and take the motor support bolts out, get this motor swapped out. So I got the rotor pulled out and got the collar that locks the rotor to the motor shaft off. And all that's left is to pull these 4 bolts, and then the motor will drop straight down out of the bottom. I think I've got enough room to clear the housing without unbolting the motor from the mount. Hopefully that's right. We'll see. And there we have it. Motor dropped out no problem. So I'm going to slip this little rubber spacer onto the new motor and slide the new one up in there. Well, the new motor actually came with a little rubber collar on it. So all I should have to do is slip this back up into place. Careful not to damage that seal. And go on and I'm going to put a little blue Loctite on these bolts and cinch it up. Well, there we have it. Motor's mounted and ready to wire up. So, right now it's starting to get dark and I've got a few things to do in the house. So I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I will come back out tomorrow night after work and finish buttoning this up, clean out the rotor, and then do the electrical side of it. And hopefully we'll start running our first batch through this unit come Saturday morning. So we'll see how it does. So I came back out here last night and got the wiring and such buttoned up on this unit. It's pretty straightforward. You've got 4 conductors that come in here, 3 that actually go to the motor, 1 to ground, which this is a 230 volt 3-phase motor. Don't freak out if you buy this setup to convert your basic to the extreme. All of the motors are 230 volt 3-phase. The controller up here is what does the work and powers that motor. So the controller takes in 110 to 120 volt single phase. They do have the 230 volt option as well. So they got a 230 volt controller, but that controls a 3-phase motor. So this is all you need to worry about here. But yeah, you've got 4 conductors, 14 gauge. I've got the 3 for the motor itself, and then I just ran a separate ground because it's what I had laying around, and it'll do the job. And I've got power cord going into the top of the controller, and I've got the controller set up how it is specified in the manual. It's a very simple setup. So now all I've got left to do before I can start running another batch is to get I'm gonna get this cover put on and get the bowl cleaned out, which it's in the ultrasonic right now, and I will get it put back together, get our drum filled up, and start running. So we've got our drum filled up, ready to go, and we've got our bowl cleaned out. It's not spotless this time, so we're gonna go on and get a pre-weight on it. We got ounces set up, zeroed out. We are at 3 pounds, 13.4 ounces. So yeah, we're gonna go on and get this set back up in the centrifuge and get it ready to run. So we got our bolt put back in, spins freely, got the gap set right, got everything snugged up, got the O-ring put back in place, and we're gonna go on and lock this lid down. Now, a modification I'm gonna go on and do before powering this up, I'm gonna pull one of these plugs and vent this cap. I'm kind of curious how much moisture will pull out that way, so I'm gonna dump it into a container right here so we can keep an eye on it. Okay, we got a little temporary, maybe semi-permanent vent put on here. I'm out of 3/4 inch tubing, apparently. This is all I've got left. So I've just got it draped over the side, and we'll just keep an eye on it and see what kind of moisture output we get. But yeah, it's all together, ready to go. I'm going to set my flow real quick before I start it, and then I'm gonna kick the heater on, let the heater warm up, and we'll get going. All right, we've got the same setup as before as far as powering goes. We've got our heater and motor ran to the distribution block here, all being fed through the kilowatt meter. Not sure if you'll be able to see that or not right now, but we're at 1,010 watts or so, heater only. So we will turn this bowl on here and get going. Now, I've already spun this up once just to make sure everything worked, and this thing is rowdy compared to the other one. So let's kick it on first and see how much power it's drawing, and then I'll kick the oil flow on. That's not quite up to speed. I'm gonna go on and kick the oil on so the bowl can be filling up. But we're probably about half throttle. We're pulling right around 1100 watts. So I'm going, let's see here. Heater's warm. We'll kick oil flow on, and now we're gonna spin this thing up. Full tilt, we're about 1400 watts. It's running 1385 to 1400, bouncing back and forth. So this setup does pull a little bit more power, but as you can hear, it's moving. So we're up to full speed. Everything seems to be running nice. The heater's hot, and we've got oil flowing. Let's go over here and check our wattage meter. We are seeing at between 1290 and 1310. So not bad at all. I don't think that was much more, if any more at all, than the basic setup. So yeah, this motor's definitely winging away. So we're gonna let it go and see what happens. Well, we're back out here this morning in the fuel shed, and we have finished the first batch through our 6,000 RPM Extreme Centrifuge. So now it's time to take a look at what's in the bowl, and we'll pull the bowl out and get some weights on it. But yeah, it's been resting overnight, so as much of the free water that was in the bowl should have drained off. But yeah, let's climb up here and see what we got. All right. The bowl is plumb full. Let me find something to stick down in there and just see what we've got. Yeah, this looks to be quite a bit more left in the bowl than there was on the last pass with the 3000 RPM unit. So let's find out for sure. All right, we've got our scale on, zeroed out, pounds and ounces, and we've got our bowl here ready to come out. So let's see what we've got. Oh, that's fun. So, current full weight after the 6,000 RPM batch, 4 pounds, 14.05 ounces. The previous weight on the same run, empty bowl, is 3 pounds, 13.4 ounces. So we're looking at about a pound, 0.65 ounces, which is several ounces more than the 3,000 RPM unit run. So, interesting. So, is the Extreme version of this centrifuge worth it? Is it worth upgrading to the Extreme over the basic if you've already got the basic set up? Well, that depends on how you look at it. The last batch that I ran with the basic setup pulled out around 11 ounces, if I remember correctly, of material, which is water and solids. And this pulled out over a pound. So you're getting a third of a pound more material out of the same batch compared to the basic unit. So yeah, I'd say it's worth it. Now, is this unit bad? Absolutely not. I mean, this unit does a great job, but obviously More RPM means more G-forces applied to the oil in the bowl, meaning a cleaner product at the end of the run. So, with all that said, I mean, I ran the little pressure drive centrifuge for, what, 8 years? Hundreds and hundreds of gallons of oil through that thing. And my flatbed truck, several other vehicles I ran on it, I never complained about it. The main issue I had was during winter, which I could not run the oil that I was making at the time, which actually I was blending 20% gasoline too, just to try and get it to work. Wouldn't run on it. It just wouldn't flow very well no matter what I did to it. And now, since going to the direct drive unit, I don't have that problem anymore. And I believe what was causing it was the moisture that I wasn't pulling out with the pressure drive unit, which I wasn't heating it either. So I've come to learn in the last year or so that heat is very important. Could you get similar results out of the pressure drive centrifuge with just, say, heating your drum for hours prior to running it? Maybe boil out some of the moisture? It's possible, but I don't know. I don't have that set up and I don't have the time to mess with it right now. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. So far, I think the 6,000 RPM unit is worth the cost, and especially if you haven't bought anything yet, it may be worth it just to go on and go that route from the get-go. So, with all that said, I'm going to get this bowl cleaned out. And I've been talking to a couple commenters who say, you know, these direct drive units, they're not single pass units. They need multiple passes to be clean, or to clean the oil efficiently. So, you know, I've heard it both ways. No, you don't just run it single pass, you're good to go. And now I'm hearing, you know, well, no, that's not the case. You need to run it multiple passes because it's not a true single pass unit. So, will running a batch multiple passes make a difference? So here's the plan. I'm gonna get this bowl cleaned out again, and I'm going to figure out a way to pump the oil out of this. Probably just use the nozzle back into the drum up there, because yeah, I've not got this set up to make multiple passes easily. So if it looks like it's going to be worthwhile, I'm going to change the plumbing around and we'll run multiple passes from now on. But yeah, I'm gonna get this cleaned out, get the oil pumped back up there. I have not mixed my gasoline with this drum yet. I don't like to heat anything with gasoline in it. You're going to evaporate the gasoline off, and you're going to end up with a highly flammable vapor in the air in your workspace. And with electric pumps and everything else running, that just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, so don't do that. But yeah, I'm going to go on and get the oil moved around. I'll see what I come up with to do there. Not quite sure how I'm going to do it. I might pull that plug up top and see if I can pump it in that way, or I might just have to disconnect the hose and pump it in through the top. But we'll see what I come up with. But that'll be for the next video. If you all have any comments, questions, complaints, what have you, drop them in the comment section. This is all experimentation, so I'm just trying to figure out what works the best, show you guys what works the best, and keep y'all from wasting money when you don't have to. So, is it worth it to go with a centrifuge over filters? Absolutely. You're wasting your money setting up with filters from the get-go. If you're playing around, sure. If you're just trying to figure it out, sure, that's fine. If you're going to do this long term, don't waste your time and money with it. You'll end up redoing it multiple times, and then you'll end up throwing it all away and going with a centrifuge anyways. So just go with the centrifuge up front. But anyways, yeah. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate you watching.